Hi, I'm movie man Eric Houston, and I'm watching every movie ever made. And I am a fan of director Larry Cohen. Larry, if you are not familiar with his work, is an absolute maniac. A guy who makes mostly horror and genre films. Classics like The Stuff, the movie about the marshmallow fluff that kills you.
Close your doors, make no more sales.
And Q the Winged Serpent, the movie about a giant winged serpent that terrorizes New York City while Michael Moriarty runs around and tries to, I think, like grift people. It's a pretty good movie.
Don't move!
Well, this time I watched one of his that I only heard about recently called The Ambulance.
Hey guys, how you doing? Long time no see. Where you been? Come on, you guys. I gave you money when you're down and out. I never fought back too hard. I apologize for ever fighting back at all, okay? But these guys, they're gonna kill me.
You gonna kill him?
Run along, asshole.
Hey guys, you know what's in that ambulance? Drugs. They got morphine. They got heroin. They got plenty of clean needles. You guys will never have to share your needles again.
Concept for this movie is pretty simple, which is what if there was an ambulance? And what if that ambulance was evil, or at least being used for evil things? Pretty simple. The plot then kind of revolves largely around Eric Roberts and his mullet. And let me tell you, folks, this is a pretty incredible mullet. This is mullet Hall of Fame mullet going on here on Eric Roberts, who is turning in, by the way, one of his more charming performances. Not that his other performances aren't charming, but it's weird to see Eric Roberts as the protagonist and to feel like it's okay to like Eric Roberts since he plays such sleazy dudes most of the time. Like, he's Julia Roberts' sister, if you don't know this, and one has to wonder, what is it like when those two get together? What is that like? How do they get along? What do they talk about? Is it chill? I don't know. They seem to have such diametrically opposed screen energies that I would love to know what's going on there. But Eric Roberts runs into to the lady from Northern Exposure. She collapses on the street. He is, of course, smitten with her. And he flags down an ambulance that takes her away. And then he decides later he's going to go visit her at the hospital. But he can't find the hospital that she's in. So then he gets sucked into this whole world where this ambulance is cruising around town, abducting people. He's trying to let the police know. The police, by the way, is embodied, at least initially, by James Earl Jones as this sort of downtrodden detective who won't stop chewing gum, so much so that even with, I guess, spoilers, but I don't know that I care, even so that when he at one point gets hit by the evil ambulance, he's laying on the ground still chewing his gum. It is a great, hilarious performance. And that's the thing about these Cohen movies. Cohen does not take movies too seriously. He does not look at a movie as something to be like reverential. He will inject humor wherever he feels like it. And it makes the movies an absolute joy and treat to watch, especially because you never know when things are going to get real nutty. And this movie gets real nutty left, right, and center. As it turns out, these people are being abducted by an evil doctor and his cronies who are trying to abduct a bunch of diabetic people to do experiments on them. How does this guy know they're diabetic? No idea. But frequently people in this movie will single somebody out and be like, oh, they're diabetic, we'll take them. How do you know? Doesn't matter. This is a feature, not a bug. Another feature of the movie is Larry Cohen. Man, no one knows New York City like Larry Cohen, because the settings he chooses, where he puts his scenes, are often so like weird and evocative that they feel like they could only come from a guy who's been wandering New York all his life, noting things and being like, I'm going to put that in a movie someday. Like there's a whole sequence on a street that just so happens to be the street where the carriage drivers from like Central Park park their carriages overnight. So it's just the street lined with carriages. Wild and very, very cool. The plot of this thing really zips too. 100 things happen in this movie, which I appreciate. How often have you watched a movie and it really just like kind of slows down for a lot of exposition? This is a movie where it's rapid fire, scene after scene after scene after scene. Things are always happening. They're always the most insane thing you've ever seen in a movie. And I haven't even touched on one of the weirder aspects of a very weird movie. And the part of this movie that makes me so shocked that I hadn't heard about it until a few months ago. And that's that Eric Roberts works as a Marvel Comics artist.
Hey, Stanley, mind if I go further? I got a girl in the hospital.
The hospital?
Yeah.
Personally, I like mine healthy, but, well, go ahead. To each his own.
I am a comic book nerd from way back. I have sat down and watched, like, the Rob Liefeld Levi's ad.
So, Rob, have you had any formal art training?
No. Just a lot of imagination, I think.
Or those weird videotapes that they used to do where Stan Lee would hang around with a Marvel artist and like watch him draw for a while.
And what artist can be better suited to this titanic task than my co-author and good buddy, none other than John Buscema?
Thanks, Dad. Now let's draw comics.
As there was an age, certainly in my early teens, when I was devouring any footage there was of the Marvel bullpen, and here's a movie with scenes set in the Marvel bullpen where Stan Lee himself, playing himself, is talking to Eric Roberts about what's going on in the movie. They're using Stan Lee as an actor. Why? It's crazy. And I would love to know, and I just haven't looked into it, I'm sure it's on Wikipedia. I would love to know what the reason for this was. What led to this weird collaboration between Marvel Comics and Larry Cohen? Because Stan Lee does not miss a trick. So what did he think he could get out of this? I would assume more than just being on screen, although Stan certainly did love to be on screen. Again, absolutely wild movie. Lots of great stuff. Lots of carnage from the ambulance driving around, chasing people down, mowing them down. At one point, Eric Roberts is in the back of the ambulance. He manages to kick his way out, so he's flying down the street on a gurney, and the ambulance is chasing after him. Great stuff. I loved The Ambulance. 4 stars.